not mute it, but put it on silence. Let's give the choir a round of applause for two fine selections. And as usual, we're going to open up with a law. We're going to go to Exodus 20. Exodus 20 and pick it up at the 1. Because we read this every week because this is what pertaineth to life. All right, when you get there, go ahead and read.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day, and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Right, so let's go hear what Solomon, the wisest man that lived, said about these laws and why should we keep them. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and we're going to pick it up at the 13. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and we're going to pick it up at the 13. Go ahead.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Right, so if you don't keep the law, let's look at if you keep it or if you don't keep it. Let's look at your reward. Let's go to the last book of the last chapter, Revelation 22. Revelation 22 and 14. Let's look at what your reward shall be, whether you kept those commandments or nay. Go ahead, Peter, but verse 13.
I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Whosoever loveth and make it a lie. I want to say good afternoon, brothers and sisters.
Good afternoon.
It's a blessing to stand before you today on the Lord's Sabbath day. I want to say good morning to the brothers and sisters on Facebook. It's a blessing to have you joining us today. So, again, today's lesson will be the third part. This is the last part of the origins of sin and its manifestation, part 3, mine. The origins of sin and its manifestation, part 3, mind. So, again, if we have some new people, we're going to show you the reason why we skip. Because we teach by subject and title. We take a precept, like the precept of the origins of sin, and its manifestation, part 3, and we use that to make a lesson. Let's go to Isaiah 28, and let's pick it up at verse 9. This is not part of the lesson, but just want to show the newcomers why we skip and why we jump. Go ahead.
Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips and with another tongue will he speak to this people.
Right, so anywhere you find yourself, whatever language you speak, the Lord has a book written just for you. And why do we wear head covering? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 11. And let's look at why do we wear head covering. Okay, let's pick this up at verse. Go ahead, pick it up at verse 1. Read down to 6. Go ahead.
Be followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I deliver them to you.
Right, as I deliver them to you. So this is not a Israel of God rules. This is not a house rule. You wearing dress is a house rule, but your head covering is biblical. Go ahead.
But I would not have you know, but I would have you know that at the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered, dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one as if she were shaven. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered.
All right. Thank you for those scriptures. So now we're going to head into the scriptures for the lesson. So, brothers and sisters, in part 1, we showed you how the angels sinned against God and was removed from the third heaven. And the first 2 human beings he had created sin against him, and they were put out of the garden. Just like the angels removed from the third heaven, they were put out of the garden. So the Lord is no partiality. He shows no respect of person. In part 1, we saw the byproduct of sin causes death, sickness, and altered how people behave towards each other. If your pastor is not teaching you about sin, then he is not teaching you how to get salvation. And without salvation, church is a waste of time. And the reward will be the same as the reward Satan will receive. So now in part 2, we look at the sins committed by David that brought a chain of destruction inside his household. And it is for our example. If we do not walk in the Spirit, the same things will befall in us. David, throughout all his chastisement, never turned away from the Lord. So, we're going to go to 2 Samuel chapter 24 to kick off this lesson. 2 Samuel chapter 24. 2 Samuel chapter 24. Okay, 24, and we're going to pick it up at the 1. We're just going to read one verse right now. And I want you to take out your marker because we're going to set a marker to Chronicles when we get there. Go ahead and read, brother.
And again, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he moved David against them to say, Go, number Israel and Judah.
Right, so the Lord's anger was against who? We'll answer that. He was
Israel.
not angry with David, but the Lord moved David against Israel. This took place 3 years after Israel went through a famine. 3 years after Israel went through a famine. Not only that, after David returned back into his kingdom, these events took place. So hold your spot right here. We're going to come back because we're going to seek for clarification. Let's go to 1 Chronicles. 1 Chronicles chapter 21. 1 Chronicles chapter 21. And we're going to pick it up at the 1. Okay, you there? All right, go ahead.
And Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel.
Right, so Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel. So we read the 2 Samuel 24 and 1, the anger of the Lord burned against Israel, and this incite David's mind to take the census. The Lord resolved what appears to look like a discrepancy by understanding that God's sovereign and permissive use of Satan to achieve his purpose, be it punishment or refinement. The Lord was clearly dissatisfied with Israel's behavior. David allowed Satan to influence the thought of his mind. So we're going to look at how Satan affects your mind and cause you to do some of the things that you do without you even realize it, that you're sinning against the Lord. So we're going to go back to 2 Samuel. Remember I told you hold your spot? We're going to go back to 2 Samuel and we're going to pick it up at the 2. 2 Samuel 24, for those who using phones. 2 Samuel 24, we'll pick it up at the 2. 24 and 2. Go ahead and read.
For the king said to Joab, the captain of the host, which was with him, Go now through all the tribes of Israel, from Dan even to Beersheba, and number ye the people, that I may know the number of the people.
Right. He gave Joab that order. So the Lord, in the past, sanctioned the census of Israel for military purposes, all the male above 20 years and older. We can read that in Numbers 1 and 26. However, this census of Israel did not express to Joab for the potential for military purpose, given why Joab react this way. Let's see why Joab react this way when David asked him to go number Israel, because you know the Lord tell you, say you can't count Israel because they're for a multitude. Yes. So now let's go see why Joab react the way he react. Verse 3, go ahead.
And Joab said unto the king, Now the Lord thy God add unto the people how many soever there be, 100-fold, and that the eyes of my lord the king may see it. But why doth my lord the king delight in this thing?
Why? Why do you delight in this thing? So Joab felt the arrogance of David and tried to stop him from sinning against God. Just like, you know, when we read about David and Uriah, when they said, when David's servant said, "Isn't this Uriah's wife?" So David ignored all that warning. See, once David gets something stuck in his head, it seems like he, cannot get it out. So, again, we're going to look at David and how he handled, Satan's temptation. Verse 4, go ahead.
Notwithstanding, the king's word prevailed against Joab and against the captains of the host. And Joab and the captains of the host went out from the presence of the king to number the people of Israel.
Right, so you're dealing with a king and you couldn't persuade him. So sometimes, hey, you might not agree with your boss, but because he said to go do it, hey, all right, for the peace, you go do it. But you try to operate in righteousness with the knowledge that you have. You try not to let that person cause you to cross the line. So let's see how Joab operate in this type of condition. So now let's go to 1 Chronicles 27. 1 Chronicles 27, and we're going to pick it up at verse 23. So we're going to see that Joab going to count the people, and he's going to violate because of what David told him. He's going to take the census. We're going to pick up this at 1 Chronicles 27 and verse 23. Go ahead.
But David took not the number of them from 20 years old and under.
From 20 years older and under. You never count 20 years old and under. You always count 20 years and above. So he knew better not to take the number, but Joab still went through and counted. So he already in violation of what the Lord said. Continue.
Because the Lord had said he would increase Israel like the stars of heaven. Joab, the son of Zeruiah, began to number, but he finished not, because there fell wrath for it against Israel. Neither was the number put in account of the chronicles of King David.
Right, so Joab was going to give him a bogus number because Joab knew better, that he not supposed to count Israel because therefore a multitude. So, where we at? Verse.
That was the end of 24.
That was the end of 24. Okay, that's good. So now let's go to 1 Chronicles 21, and we're going to pick this up at verse 5. 1 Chronicles 21 and verse 5, because Joab know it's a sin to count Israel, but because he didn't want to displease his boss, he tried to stop him, just like how they tried to stop David from sleeping with Bathsheba. I said, isn't that Uriah's wife? But David, once he got something stuck in his head, man, he just can't let it go. So now let's pick this up at verse 5 and see what that say. Go ahead.
And Joab gave the sum of the number of the people unto David. And all they of Israel were 1,000,000 and 100,000 men that drew sword. And Judah was 410,000 men that drew sword. But Levi and Benjamin counted he not among them, for the king's word was abominable to Joab.
So the king's words was abominable to Joab. So why did David want to count Israel? They're not in a state of war. They're not. Usually the Lord is the one that sanctify.
Sanction.
What word I'm looking for?
Sanctions.
Yeah, the Lord is the one that sanctioned the count, But this time David decided that, hey, he's going to do it on his own. So maybe he had a little pride and he wants to boast about the numbers of Israel. But regardless, it's still a sin. So sometimes you find yourself in a situation where there is no getting out of it. In such case, do the righteous thing. Joab knows the Levites were never to be counted, and the census for Benjamin already preserved in their archives. He knows the Lord said Israel is for a multitude, and David knows this, yet indiscriminately he gave the charge to Joab, and Joab brought David a bogus count. So let's drop down to verse 7 and see who else it displeases. Go ahead.
And God was displeased with this thing. Therefore,
And who was displeased?
And God was displeased with this thing.
And what else?
Therefore, he smote Israel.
Right, so David's mind troubled him because he recognized the enormity of his sin. After he had received the count, knowing he did not consult the Lord, neither was Israel in a war to justify the need of a census. So, let's pick this up at verse 8. Go ahead.
And David said unto God, I have sinned greatly, because I have done this thing. But now I beseech thee, do away the iniquity of thy servant.
Right, so he said, he admitted that he have sinned greatly. He recognized what he has done. And that's what we got to do. When you recognize that you sin against the Lord, you got to confess and you got to fix it. No man is perfect. Go ahead, finish that out.
For I have done very foolishly.
For he has done very foolishly. Now, let's analyze David and Job. Two great men. So, two great men with the same common denominator, Satan. When Satan moved against Job, in that one day, Satan killed all of Job's children. He destroyed all his possession. And when that didn't make Job sin against the Lord, Job said, naked I came out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord give it, and the Lord take it. And God take it away. Blessed be the God. Blessed be the name of the God. Blessed be the name of the Lord. So, when Satan see that didn't work, Satan said, all right, let me touch his skin. So Satan touched his skin, and Job break out in a boil. So now his wife saw him using these patch shear to scrape the boils off. In her love for him, she felt so sorry for him. His wife said, you still retain your integrity? Curse God and die. See, in her love for her husband, it was misguided. You know, she became an enabler in terms of trying to relieve Job out of his pain and suffering by telling to curse God and die. Yeah, it'd be easy for you to die, but you're going to face this lake of fire when you die. But Job, in his infinite wisdom, said, woman, you speak like one of them foolish women. Shall we not receive good from the hands of God?
Not receive.
And should we not receive evil? And with all that, Job still never sinned against God. But on the other hand, we see what's going on with David. Satan move against David. Instead of David said, "Get behind me, Satan," he sinned against God with his lips. So let's pick this up at verse 9. Go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Gad, David's seer, saying, Go and tell David, saying, Thus said the Lord, I offer thee 3 things. Choose thee one of them.
Right. Choose your punishment. I'm going to offer you 3 things. Some of you probably remember when your parents used to send you to go pick a switch. Go bring me a good switch. Yeah, go bring me a good switch. You're going to pick your punishment. So the Lord tell David, hey man, come pick your punishment. I'm going to give you 3 punishments. Come pick one. I'm going to do it to you. Whether you like it or not. Go ahead.
That I may do it unto thee. So Gad came to David and said unto him, Thus said the Lord, Choose thee, either 3 years famine, or 3 months to be destroyed before thy foes, while that the sword of thy enemies overtake thee, or else 3 days the sword of the Lord, even the pestilence in the land, and the angel of the Lord destroying throughout all the coast of Israel.
So the angels start destroying throughout the coast of Israel already. So now, when David and the elders see that, we're going to see their reaction. Go ahead now.
Now therefore, advise thyself what word I shall bring again to him that sent me. And David said unto Gad, I am in a great strait.
Yes, I'm in a great strait, but I'm in a fix. I need to get out of this fix. Woo! Like them would say, hell and powder house going to break loose. Go ahead.
Let me fall not into the hand of the Lord. Let me fall now into the hand of the Lord. For very great are his mercies.
Right, so very great is his mercy. If you fall into the hands of man, they ain't going to stop beating you until the breath leave your body. So he's not going to take the chance and put itself into the hands of man. Because he know when this Hebrew go to whip you, boy, ain't no mercy. Go ahead.
But let me not fall into the hands of man. So the Lord sent pestilence upon Israel. And there were fell of Israel 70,000 men.
70,000 men fell. 70,000 men. And that's just one angel. And he probably stand up with a scroll on his face with a sword and shield. Go ahead.
And God sent an angel unto Jerusalem to destroy it. And as he was destroying, the Lord beheld, and he repented him of the evil.
Right. An expression of God's deep sorrow concerning man's sin and evil. You know, it reminded me when I was growing up. You know, and my mom, she would, give me a good whipping, and then my back would be sore and it would welt. But I know later on, she would come back and she would like dress it. Oh. So that was the best part of the whipping, because I could see the sorrow in her face. She really didn't mean to do it, but it's a necessary evil. She had to do it to correct me. Same way with the Lord. So when he see Israel suffering and the pain, he repent himself. Not that they didn't deserve it, they deserve it. But because he's so merciful, he said, all right, let me pull back on my punishment. So, sometimes when you punish a child, you got to do it with a little love, even though they make you angry. Go ahead.
And said to the angel that destroyed, It is enough.
It is enough.
Stay now thine hand.
Stay now thy hand. Go ahead.
And the angel of the Lord stood by the threshing floor of Onan the Jebusite.
Right, so Ornan was a Hamite that converted to spiritual Israel and changed his name from Aria to Ornan. I try to pronounce the name. At this location is where Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac and where the building of the third temple will take place. Go ahead, pick it up at verse 16.
And David lifted up his eyes and saw the angel of the Lord stand between the earth and the heaven. having a drawn sword in his hand, stretched out over Jerusalem.
Right, so when David saw that scroll on that angel's face with his sword up, like, oh no, I ain't crossing that dude. He looked too serious. So what did David do? Go ahead.
Then David and the elders of Israel, who were clothed in sackcloth, fell upon their faces.
Right, so they're showing the Lord sorrow and repentance for their sin. Verse 17.
And David said unto God, Is it not I that commanded the people to be numbered? Even I, it is that have sinned and done evil indeed. But as for these sheep, what have they done? Let thine hand, I pray thee, O Lord my God, be upon me, and on my father's house, but not on thy people, that they should be plagued.
Right, so David interceded for his people like Moses did. He told the Lord to bring that wrath upon his head and his family head, as if he hasn't been punished enough. He hasn't got enough drama. Verse 18.
Then the angel of the Lord commanded Gad to say to David that David should go up and set up an altar unto the Lord in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite.
Right, so the Lord is telling David how to get out of this. What you need to do. You know, the Lord wanted to put his hands on Israel. Not so much on David, even though David sinned, but he wanted to put his hands on Israel, but he kind of went through David to do it. Verse 19.
And David went up at the saying of Gad, which he spake in the name of the Lord. And Ornan turned back and saw the angel, and his 4 sons with him hid themselves.
Right. They saw this mean-looking angel with his sword and shield, and they hide themselves. Fear of the angels. I would done the same thing too. Go ahead.
Now Ornan was threshing wheat. And as David came to Ornan, Ornan looked, and he saw David, and went out of the threshing floor, and bowed himself to David with his face to the ground. And David said to Ornan, Grant me the place of this threshing floor, that I may build an altar therein unto the Lord. Thou shalt grant it for me for the full price, that the plague may be stayed from the people. And Ornan said unto David, Take it to thee, and let my lord the king do that which is good in his eyes. Lo, I give thee the oxen also for burnt offerings, and the threshing instruments for wood, and the wheat for the meat offering. I give it all. And King David said to Ornan, Nay.
No, because if you're giving a sacrifice, it's got to cost you something. You can't give the Lord something free. You ain't lose nothing. It ain't cost you anything. Go ahead.
But I will verily buy it for the full price.
You will buy it for the full price.
For I will not take that which is thine for the Lord, nor offer burnt offerings without cost.
Right, because sin is costly, and David knew that sacrifice comes with a cost. He has to give up something. 25.
So David gave to Ornan for the place 600 shekels of gold by weight. And David built there an altar unto the Lord, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings, and called upon the Lord. And he answered him from heaven by fire upon the altar of burnt offering.
Okay.
And the Lord commanded the angel, and he put up his sword again into the sheath thereof.
Right, the Lord have to tell him, hey man, I know you love the killing, but you got to shield your sword now. That's enough. That's enough, no more. That angel just want to go to work. Go ahead.
At that time, when David saw that the Lord had answered him in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite, then he sacrificed there. For the tabernacle of the Lord, which Moses made in the wilderness, and the altar of burnt offering were at that season in the high place at Gibeon.
So that's where David worshiped, in the high place of Gibeon. So let's see if he's going to go there. Go ahead.
But David could not go before it to inquire of God, for he was afraid because of the sword of the angel of the Lord.
Right, so David continued to remain at the threshing floor and offer sacrifices, because the Lord had appeared to him there. he hallowed the place and would not come before the Lord at the center of worship in Gibeon, fearing the menacing angel with the sword in his hand. He did not want to face that angel, didn't want to deal with that angel.
True.
So he decided to change his place of worship. Let's see. So now, let's go to 1 Kings 1, chapter 1. 1 Kings chapter 1. And yeah, you want to put a marker in your 1 Kings chapter 1. So what we are looking at is David in his old age. So David was old and stricken in years, and all the sheet that they used to cover David could not keep him warm. So David was plagued with blood circulation problem. And remember, the Lord had put a sword in David's house. The Lord had not removed that sword from David's house for the sin that he committed. So the royal staff came up with an idea to fix David's issue. They would get a young, beautiful virgin to nurse and watch over him. At night, keep him warm with her body heat. I bet David begged for younger years. He probably prayed for younger years back then. Her name was Abishag, a Shulamite from the coast of Israel. And that's where we're going to pick it up at verse 5. When David, old and stricken in years, and Abishai came to cheer him up, warm him up with that body heat. Okay, verse 5, go ahead.
Then Adonijah, the son of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, I will be king. And he prepared him chariots and horsemen, and 50 men to run before him.
Right, so Adonijah was the fourth oldest living son for David, since his older brother had passed, which is Absalom. And like Absalom, Adonijah sought to usurp and support his kingship by raising a small army to exhibit the byproducts of sin, which causes his own demise. Verse 6.
And his father had not displeased him at any time in saying, Why hast thou done so?
Right, his father has not displeased him at any time by scolding him. Go ahead.
And he also was a very goodly man, and his mother bare him after Absalom.
Right, so David's acquiescence feed Adonijah misguided thoughts. This is for all parents. You got to rein in your kids when you see they're doing something that is not right. You can't be afraid to correct them. So you can see by David being quiet and not doing anything to correct his kid, what is taking place. Verse 7, go ahead.
And he conferred with Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and with Abiathar the priest. And they followed Adonijah, and they following Adonijah helped him.
Okay, so Joab, David's nephew by his sister, the commander of the army of Israel, and faithful supporter of David's kingship, he was guilty of illegal killings of Abner and Amasa. He thought he got away with those crimes. Adonijah wanted his support in his bid for the throne. Verse 8.
But Zadok the priest, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and Nathan the prophet, and Shimei, and Rei, and the mighty men which belonged to David, were not with Adonijah.
They were not with Adonijah, because Nathan, that's the prophet that went to him and warned him about what he did with Bathsheba. And we're going to see that there's going to be a shuffle in the priest's office. Go ahead.
And Adonijah slew sheep and oxen and fat cattle by the stone of Zeloeth, which is in Enrogel, and called all his brethren the king's son, and all the men of Judah the king's servant. But Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah, and the mighty men, and Solomon his brother, he called not.
Right, because if Adonijah became king, it would put Solomon's life and Bathsheba in jeopardy because of the ancient Near East potential claimants to the throne and their family were put to death. That was a tradition that they did back then to make sure that there was no one to claim the throne. So Nathan, who knew the Lord's will, act quickly and swiftly by having Bathsheba to go to David first to report what was happening after. He would follow her and do the same. Let's drop down to verse 13 and go ahead.
Go and get thee unto King David, and say unto him, Didst not thou, my lord, O king, swear unto thine handmaid, saying, Assuredly Solomon thy son shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne. Why then doth Adonijah reign? Behold,
why does Adonijah reign? That's a legitimate question. Why does he reign when he was never given the kingship? He is usurping his father's authority. Not only that, he's usurping a job that doesn't belong to him. 14.
Behold, while thou yet talkest there with the king, I also will come in after thee and confirm thy words. And Bathsheba went in unto the king into the chamber, and the king was very old. And Abishag the Shunammite ministered unto the king. And Bathsheba bowed and did obeisance unto the king. And the king said, What wouldest thou?
Right, so she reminded the king of his word to her that Solomon would be king. Drop down to verse 18. Go ahead.
And now, behold, Adonijah reigneth. And now, my lord the king, thou knowest it not.
Right. Adonijah having a feast for members of his kingship, and you are completely unaware of it. Drop down to verse 20. Read.
And thou, my lord, O king, the eyes of all Israel are upon thee, that thou shouldest tell them who shall sit on thy throne of my lord the king after him.
Right, because this son of yours is making a claim that the throne is his. So David got to clear that up. Go ahead, 21.
Otherwise it shall come to pass, when my lord the king shall sleep with his fathers, that I and my son Solomon shall be counted offenders.
Right.
And
so Solomon and Bathsheba will be counted as offenders, like Amalek. Kill all the successors to the throne except for Jotham. The same thing would happen to them. Drop down to verse 24. Go ahead.
And Nathan said, My lord, O king, hast thou said Adonijah shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne? For
Right, have you said that? King, have you said that to him? Go ahead.
For he is gone down this day, and hath slain oxen, and fat cattle, and sheep in abundance, and hath called all the king's son, and captains of the host, Abiathar the priest, and behold, they eat and drink before him, and say, God save King Adonijah.
So keep in mind, Abiathar, the priest, he's going to get kicked out of his office for supporting Adonijah. Go ahead, verse 26.
But me, even me, thy servant, and Zadok the priest, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and thy servant Solomon hath he not called.
Right, he don't want to call them because they are his opposers. Drop down to verse 28 for the answer. Go ahead.
Then King David answered and said, Call me Bathsheba. And she came into the king's presence and stood before the king. And the king sware and said, As the Lord liveth, that hath redeemed my soul out of all distress, even as I swear unto thee by the Lord God of Israel, saying, Assuredly Solomon thy son shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne in my stead. Even so will I certainly do this day.
Right, so David clears up any confusion or misunderstanding that very day. So open rebuke is better than secret love. So he's got to correct Adonijah. Drop down to verse 32. Read.
And King David said, Call me Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada.
Right, so we're going to make this official. Go ahead.
And they came before the king. The king also said unto them, Take with you the servants of your Lord, and cause Solomon my son to ride upon mine own mule, and bring him down to Gihon. And let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there king over Israel, and blow ye with the trumpet, and say, God save King Solomon.
God save King Solomon. Let's see how it's gonna affect Adonijah. Keep going.
Then he shall come up after him, that he may come and sit upon my throne. For he shall be king in my stead, and I have appointed him to be ruler over Israel and over Judah.
Right, so let's look at David's prayer for Solomon for prosperity in his new role as king. Drop down to verse 37. Pay attention to this prayer, and we're going to look at whether Solomon lived up to what David prayed for him. Go ahead.
As the Lord hath been with my lord the king, even so be with Solomon. Even so be he with Solomon, and make his throne greater than the throne of my lord King David.
Right, make his throne greater. So David wants him to have great prosperity. Go ahead.
So Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and the Cherethites, and the Pelethites went down and caused Solomon to ride upon King David's mule, and brought him to Gihon.
Come on.
And Zadok the priest took an horn of oil out of the tabernacle and anointed Solomon. And they blew the trumpet, and all the people said, God save King Solomon. And all the people came up after him, and the people piped with pipes and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth rent with the sound of them.
Oh, so they was making a lot of noise. So it's impossible for you not to hear this celebration. They were pretty loud with it because they want Adonijah to hear that. So you just got replaced. Go ahead.
And Adonijah and all the guests that were with him heard it, as they had made an end of eating. And when Joab heard the sound of the trumpet, he said, Wherefore is this noise of the city being in an uproar?
Right, so the loud shouts hailing Solomon as king sucked the life out of Adonijah. So hope for his kingship is gone. He is losing that hope because his heart probably dropped to the ground. Go ahead, 42.
And while he yet spake, behold, Jonathan the son of Abiathar the priest came. And Adonijah said unto him, Come in, for thou art a valiant man, and bringest good tidings.
Oh, he don't like, trust me, he ain't going to like this tidings that he's going to bring. Go ahead.
And Jonathan answered and said to Adonijah, Verily, our Lord King David had made Solomon king, And the king had sent with him Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and the Cherethites, and the Pelethites. And they have caused him to ride upon the king's mule.
Come on.
And Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet had anointed him king in Gihon. And they are come up from thence rejoicing, so that the city rang again. This is the noise that ye have heard.
Right. So will sin have the same effect on Adonijah's mind as it did Adam and Eve, causing fear to control his behavior? Let's see if fear is going to alter his behavior like it altered Adam and Eve. Drop down to verse 50 for the answer. Let's see what Adonijah going to do. Go ahead.
And Adonijah feared because of Solomon, and arose and went and caught hold of the horns of the altar.
Right, so guiltiness was on his conscience because he tried to take over a job that wasn't his to begin with. Seeing the protection of God, but seeking the protection of God, but not the counsel of the Lord. See, the temple will protect you if you accidentally, sin or you accidentally draw blood. But let's see if the owner of the temple is going to protect him. 51, go ahead.
And it was told Solomon, saying, Behold, Adonijah feareth King Solomon. For lo, he hath caught hold of the horns of the altar, saying, Let King Solomon swear unto me today that he will not slay his servant with the sword. And Solomon said, If he will shew himself a worthy man, there shall not an hair of him fall to the earth. But if wickedness shall be found in him, he shall die.
Right, so if he is righteous, it will show that he is. And if he is not, the truth will show its ugly self. And he will die. You see, a leopard can never hide their spot. If you look really good, even though the leopard look black, you look good, you see the spot. So sometimes you can smell somebody bringing the bull crap to you from a distance. And you can recognize that's bulls. But we will see